Well, looking at those now, I just recall what you said, that there may be another round of licensing. But why will that be? Because you've got discos, gencos, the only part left is transmission. In fact, transmission is handled by TCN. Yeah. So with these kinds of investment, do you need any further round of licensing?
Power sector is hugely capital intensive. And the existing owners, I'm not convinced they have what it takes to run a sustainable private sector oriented regime in Nigeria. One, we haven't seen the movement of anticipated capital, huge investment, beyond acquisition financing. It's different. If you need to buy this Apple, you can get money to buy it. If you need to buy a car, you can get a loan to buy the car. Then putting the car into good use, refurbishing the car is another thing. They merely got loans, largely from local banks and a few foreign lenders, to buy those entities. And that's why a lot of Nigerian banks are in trouble. They anticipated that the power sector would be the investment that will bring them the cash. Oh. Unfortunately, they are easily exposed, and they can't afford to lend to them again, and they still need another set of lending to now start to operationalize.
Why do we then have the Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading Company? We thought that they were also there when they come on board in 2010 as a result of having identified this challenge so they could bridge that gap.
Yes, I thank you for that. Bulk trader, as we call them, they got that structure from the Canadian model. It's meant to be a stopgap arrangement to instill investors' confidence in the sector to the extent that, hey, guys, generate power. Whatever megawatts generated is bought and sold in advance, to the extent that the issue is not that I've generated, nobody's buying. Whatever megawatt that is generated, there's a bulk trader who will mop up with the funders of the bulk trader. They will ensure payment. Then they take it to the discos, gencos. The gencos generate, sell. Genco generates, bulk trader pays, the discos distribute, make money, and the money goes back to them. That's the structure, the chain. Bulk trader is supposed to be a stopgap and to be phased out about 5 years thereafter, when the power sector is fully liberalized, when the sector is really.
But that can't happen yet, can it?
Because they are not calling the next stage of fully privatized, liberalized field where you have open entry and exit. They are still still practicing a kind of protectionist structure, which says, oh, they've not recouped their money. Let's still not expose them to too much competition at this stage. But that doesn't make sense. The government is broke. Nigeria cannot afford the kind of windfall we had for them under power sector intervention of President Goodluck Jonathan, which some people question that, oh, they bought the entities cheap and they're now using public funds to fund it. That's not going to happen now. So they've got to look for money, not from the Nigerian banks. They are weak. And getting money offshore, they're going to ask questions about tariff, bankability of the investment, and other models. Hey, you want to generate power, the easiest way is to generate power through gas. So what if the Niger Delta militant bursts a pipe? Bad money. So they're going to weigh all these options. And I said, in the power sector, there's something we call host community risk. It's a factor which we now advocate should be really considered in the energy sector, that is oil and gas. But host community is a major factor now, is a risk that should be studied and analyzed for purpose of electricity investment, because this vandalization thing. But under the Nigerian law, we only have a kind of framework for hydro-producing communities. That's another sad story. Nigeria has a law, an act, that takes care of communities, host communities to hydropower plants. All of them. There's a law, there's an act to that effect, just like Niger Delta thing. But there's no law that talks about communities within the gas pipelines. So, and power is not generated only from hydro.
Yeah, but do those communities benefit from the gas pipeline? Because I thought that if you supply them through gas, it's like...
Just tunnel it.
Yeah, but can they pay for that?
But there's a way...
How many communities are
because
paying for that?
Gas is also is derived from a source.
But the resources to lay all those pipes for them to make that money is huge.
I agree with you, it's huge. But as said, anytime you are venturing into business, energy business, you must factor in the host community issues and deal with it one way or the other. That's what we advise. It's for the investor now to devise a sustainable means of structuring it.
But the government also did say, I think it was on May 2nd, where they were talking about they're trying to optimize 7,000 megawatts for the next 18 months. Can we meet that target?
I said no. That's not realistic. As I told you, it's not realistic.
But if you look at it cumulatively of all the power plants in the country, of what they can generate, it looks like it's realizable.
The problem, as I said here several times, it's not really one of generation.
I think the ministry has said that too much. It's just the evacuation.
It's like, okay, you have this power you have generated, and you are putting it through this hole, which is the grid. And there's a limit to the amount of what you can load into it because it's weak. It's too burst. So we've got to now revamp, restructure, enhance the distribution infrastructure first and foremost. And I said, it doesn't make sense. Why do we still need to go to the weak national grid because of greed? Why not change the orientation and decentralize? Hey, if I generate power in Lagos, I first pass it to the national grid, it travels. Why? When there is a willing buyer next door, you can do decentralized. That's why I talk of decentralized. We target the industries, in industrial hubs in Ikorodu, in Nagbara, in Ogba. They are doing captives now. We should really intensify efforts in the area of captive and get them to generate far in excess of what they need, and set up another company like an off-taker to now distribute the excess to neighboring homes. And if we do that for most communities, you're going to have people around Nestle having power 24 hours, because Nestle now can generate like 10 megawatts, whereas it needs 5 megawatts, and push the rest to the people living in the community. Those are the kind of model we're advocating. But they say, no, you can't do it. It's bad business for the discos. They have not recouped their money. Maybe.
Right. We unfortunately, we expected one of the Roman Darker, who is the MD CEO of the bulk trader, as the Nigerian bulk electricity trading company, but clearly he didn't make it. Well, we have to thank you for coming on. Dr. Yemi Oke is the author of Nigeria Electricity Law and Regulation 2013. We'll be back and turn our attention to another matter in just a moment. Don't go away.